Hey everyone, welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 235, recorded on August 17th, 2021. My name is Steve, but of course I am not alone. Unfortunately, Greg couldn't make it tonight, but I do have Barry, so it's just me talking to you by myself tonight. Barry, how you doing?
I'm good. Been a very busy week, or busy 2 weeks, I should say. But happy to be here, talking more
Yeah.
video games.
Absolutely. Yeah, Barry and I were talking was it yesterday? Yeah, I talked about getting ready for the podcast, and we both read a book this last couple weeks. So that's been good. Good world outside of video games.
What? There's a world outside of video games.
I
What is
know,
this
I know.
blasphemous stuff you're talking
Oh,
about?
I know. That's what happened when Greg's not here to keep us on task. We do things other than video games. Uh, but we're going to be talking a lot about the Indie World Showcase that happened just last week. We're also talking about the All Access event that happened back on August 6th. We have some other headlines that we'll run through, got some numbers from Nintendo and what's been selling recently. Spoiler alert, they're still doing really well as a company. Really, really well. Pokemon's got an event coming up soon. We'll talk about that. And Fortnite is, of course, going to be competing with yet another game outside of its normal FPS genre. We'll get into all that tonight and discuss it all. But we are not alone. Even though Greg's not here, we do have a third member of the chat room. Collectively, you guys are there today to talk to us all about what you have been playing, but also what you think about all the different stories that we're talking about. So if you're joining us live, you're in the chat room, let us know what you think about all the stories that we talk about. We would love to hear that. While you're at it, just go ahead and throw in there what you've been playing recently. We would love to hear you guys talk and see what you guys are playing recently. Sorry, I'm reading some comments right now, and I just saw my name there. Jakester says if it was just me, wouldn't it be a rant and not a podcast? Maybe, depends on what I want to talk about, I guess. We could just talk a Rocket League for an hour straight. That would work. But if you guys are new, if you haven't done so yet, please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to hit that bell here on YouTube. Hit the like button. Hit the share buttons to share it with other gamers that you know would enjoy this kind of content. Also, if you had not followed us on social media, please do so. We're at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And also, we have our Discord. Link is on the screen, but also in the show notes and the podcast, podcast show notes, but also the YouTube description. And we would love to have you guys join in the conversation in between the episodes. Speaking of which, just a quick programming note right up front. Normally, we do this podcast every other week. We are going to be skipping to 2 weeks. So the next episode is going to be recorded live on September 7th. So if you have not joined us live, we'd love to have you join us live. September 7th is our next recording date after this one. Barry, what have you been up to lately? What have you been playing?
Yeah, quite a lot on my list, which usually is the case, mainly because of the other jobs I do. But I am still doing very minimal Animal Crossing. Just logged in, pretty much ordered the seasonal items that they added, and then promptly logged out.
Nice.
Went back to Smash Brothers. They had a special Spirit event with Mario Golf Spirits added, so I had to go and get those. They also had a special Tetris 99 Maximus Cup for Skyward Sword, so I actually booted that up and did my 100 points to get the theme. A lot of tough Tetris players, man. I am not that good in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the playcast that I'm on, we did do a couple games, and one of them, actually, I don't even remember what the last one we played was.
It's that memorable, huh?
Wave Break. Wave Break was the last one I played that. I talked about it last time. That's why.
That's true.
Wave Break was it's a jet ski or a boat. Really, it's not a jet ski. It's a boat. Tony Hawk game. It's
Right.
really weird. Very influenced by Weezer. There's like a Weezer level. You could watch the playcast for my entire thoughts on it, but it has huge ambitions.
Is there a sweater?
No, but
No.
it lacks polish. Actually, there is. You can get different outfits for your bear.
Okay.
It is. See, that's how memorable it was. I forgot about it. But yeah, it is not the greatest of games, but it is certainly something unique. Also played Trigger Witch, which we'll be doing a review of next podcast episode. That is just a really cool Link to the Past style twin stick shooter. Way better than I thought. Maybe my biggest surprise this year thus far.
Wow.
Played a game called Glyph, which is a almost like Marble Madness / Monkey Ball with 3D platforming elements. Really interesting title. Also played some Smelter. Smelter is a 2D 16-bit action platformer similar to like Mega Man X style with real-time strategy gameplay. So kind of almost like ActRaiser. Played a little Mighty Fight Federation. It is a almost like a wannabe Power Stone. It is needs a little polish, but it's cool because it does have some guest characters, including Toe Jam and Earl and Ukulele,
Nice.
which is really interesting to see. Characters like that just come together. And the last thing I did on the Switch was started with a demo, which was Shadowverse Champions Battle, which translated to me continuing in the full game, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. On the PS4 side, I'm still doing Neo: The World Ends With You, and I am almost done. I'm on the final few days, and I will say this game just blows the first out of the water. At least, definitely the Switch port. Maybe the DS version as well. It's really well done. Having way more fun with this game than I thought I would. Just a blast. And PC still doing some Final Fantasy 14, and on the mobile side still chugging along on Dragalia Lost and Mario Kart Tour.
Cool. Cool. I'm going to go to the chat room and see what everybody's been up to here. Looks like Jakester's been playing Xenoblade, hit the 100-hour mark, and is at the end game right now. Dragon Quest 11 and Fate Grand Order. And he unfortunately missed the Tetris event. And VG Mobster is just really excited for the Cyberpunk Bomb Rush. So, and just like Jet Set Radio, I forget about Jet Set Radio. It's a great game.
Such a good franchise.
And then yeah, Jakester says he also played Monster Hunter Stories 2 demo, and really wants the full game for Christmas. I've heard that the online, is it for that particular game, is like super smooth, or is it one of the other Monster Hunter games?
I haven't done it online, so I can't say. But I know how Jakester feels because I did that demo, just like unsure whether or not I would play the game, and I wound up playing and completing the game. It is definitely an awesome game, and try out that demo for sure.
Nice. Before I get into what I've been playing, Greg did list what he's been playing in our show notes. So he said he's been playing Pokemon Unite, Trigger Witch, which you and him will be talking about next time, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Fire Emblem Heroes.
See, I've been so busy I forgot to list Pokemon Unite because I've been playing that every day too.
That's such a weird experience for me because I planned on playing it a lot. And I haven't touched it.
Never accepted my friend request.
Because I haven't turned it on. Yeah, I actually ended up traveling some this last week, and I thought I was going to be playing some more video games. I ended up, like I said earlier, like I read more. Specifically, I've been reading a lot more comics lately. So going back to some classic X-Men and reading through that and watching the old the cartoon as well, and just read the entire Dark Phoenix story, or Dark Phoenix saga and everything. And so,
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, which leads me to my only video game that I played over this last week, and I'll give you two guesses. You only need one to guess what it was. It was Rocket League.
I was going to guess Barbie's Horse Parade.
That's on my backlog. But yeah, season 4 came out of Rocket League, and so I've been playing that. Haven't done my placement matches yet, but ended last season pretty right in the middle of Diamond rank. And so those of you guys that have been hearing me talk about Rocket League for a while, you know that like I've actually been progressing and getting better. I hope to maybe be able to hit champion level this year, this season. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but that's my goal. So keep ranking up pretty much with the last several seasons, rank up a good couple ranks in there. So that's been fun. It's like a whole like Wild West sort of theme this time. So it's kind of an interesting idea, I guess they went with, but it's cool. They got a new uh, arena that you can play in, and also a couple new options for tournaments, which a lot of people were asking for as well. So now not just 3-on-3 tournaments, but you can do 2-on-2 tournaments, and I think there's couple other options as well. So kind of expanding the game a little bit, and Epic is finally coming along Psyonix and making the game a little better. But there's still a lot of things that people are asking for, but we'll see how that goes over time. Jared also in the chat says he's been playing Ace Attorney Chronicles, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Go, Mario Run, and Mario Kart. So awesome. And I think that's pretty much. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. I forgot to actually grab them. If you do follow me on TikTok, you could actually see this video, but I'm just going to show it here. I got these mini custom figurines of Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Link, and Zelda over last weekend. So they're pretty awesome. They're a company called Brickheads, or no, sorry, not Brickheads, Brick Bunch, and you can check them out and order your own and everything. But they're pretty awesome. And they have a bunch of different characters, like thousands of different characters you can choose from. But that's the Nintendo characters, so it was pretty awesome. And they're like $5 a piece, so you can get your own. And so yeah, my collection behind me that you can't really see right now is growing. Not only am I now addicted to Hot Wheels, apparently now I'm getting a bunch of minifigurines. The good thing is they're only this big, so they don't take up nearly as much space as Amiibo and all those other things. So
just you wait.
yeah.
That's how they deceptively get you. Like, oh, this isn't going to take up that much space. And the next thing you know, you have boxes upon boxes of these.
Yeah. It's probably going to happen. But like I said, they're only that big. So, which is also the case. Like, I'm like, oh, I can get 5 or 6 each time instead of just picking up one. And yeah, the next thing I know, they have lots of my money, and I'm running out of space because I have minifigs everywhere. But yeah, they're not a sponsor of this podcast. I wish they were. Maybe I can actually get them at some point. But Brick Bunch, and they're actually based out of where I live. They don't have a brick and mortar store. They only sell online. But they are from the town I live in, which is funny enough. So. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so you have to ship it unless you just buy it. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if I can even go pick them up. I don't know.
That's for go find an office and knock on the door.
Right.
I'd like to pick up.
I think it's just at someone's house. But yeah, BG Monster says he wants to Legoland. One of these days I'm gonna go to Legoland. I've been to like some of the big Lego stores, which are pretty awesome, but I've never actually been to like the real Legoland. So one of these days. Have you ever been?
I have not been to Legoland. It's one of those things where it looks great. My wife and I both absolutely love Legos, and we've thought about it. It might be something we do when we, have kids and decide to take them there, or we might just on the spur of the moment go do it. I think we probably would have done it already had COVID not happened, and I will definitely say, like most people, COVID has changed a lot of our plans. So right now it's like, do we really need to go out there? No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Makes sense for
right
sure. Well, cool. Barry, I'm going to toss it over to you. You got a little game that you can review for us called Shadowverse Champions Battle. So,
yeah. Shadowverse Champions Battle is one of those games that I actually didn't have on my radar at all. It was one of those things where I didn't even realize it was available for pre-order. And as a full set collector, it's like, how'd you miss a game to pre-order? And I just happened to be, add something to my cart on Amazon. I was like, something else you might like, and I was like, oh, there it is. It's an Xseed game. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll get this. And then someone on Twitter actually posted some screenshots from the demo, and I was like, wait a second, this looks like Magic the Gathering, and I loved Magic the Gathering growing up. So I was like, okay, I want to try this. And this is one of my favorite type of demos. It's the demo where the whatever you do in the demo carries over to the main game. More and more demos need to do this. It's fantastic. So this demo actually takes you through the entire first chapter, and I'm going to say about 80% of the way through the second chapter. And the game itself is far better than I ever expected it to be. I didn't really know what to expect. It is a RPG, but instead of turn-based combat, you play Magic the Gathering style battles, and the battles themselves it's like a hybrid Magic the Gathering. So it's a card game. You build your decks. The cool thing is when you battle somebody for the first time, they actually give you a copy of their deck, but you don't get the cards. You have to find the cards. So if you've ever fought against somebody in a game or even played a real life card game and someone's like, oh wow, their deck stomped me, I'd really love to build something similar, you actually get their entire deck, and then you get to mix and match and edit it however you want, which is really cool. The combat is fast, it's fluid. The animations are really well done. The story so far, I mean, it's a definitely a young adult story, like on the more juvenile side. It's not, at least at this point, it's not like the world is at stake kind of deal. It's just kids trying to enjoy the game. But I'm still early. Who knows? These games, you might very well get the world is ending and a card battle will save the day. I mean, it happened in like Yu-Gi-Oh, so why not? Like I said, it's a lot to it, but they explain everything really well. Every card you can bring up what it does, and it gives you reminders of all the different moves that it can do. And it's just addicting, like just collecting the cards and building decks, and going to terminals and you open up packs. And right now there's only a classic style pack, but I really believe there's more packs. At least I hope there are, just to expand, like expansion packs. And I will say that at least on playing docked, I haven't played handheld, but I will say that the frame rate does suffer, not during the actual card games, but it does suffer like running around the 3D environment sometimes, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's minor. There are quests too. There are side quests. So in addition to the main story, there are side quests to do, which reward you with cards and money. There's also a Persona-like bonding system where you can get closer to all your different teammates that are part of the club with you, and even your rivals, and get to know them, and they reward you and see their own personal stories. And all of this is optional. You don't have to do any of it, which is fantastic because it lets you get more immersed into the world if you choose to. And this is one of those titles that going in, I'm like, I'm just gonna, mess around with it. And it's actually taken my attention away from games that I've really been looking forward to playing, because this just came out of nowhere. And I'm finding myself wanting to play it like every day. And as someone who grew up with Magic, at least, in my middle school years and up, it was one of those things where my weekends, I used to play with my friends. I used to go to, Magic Shop and play the Magic game. And now, of course, it's so expensive. Like getting into Magic, it's expensive. And definitely playing with the older cards, it's even more expensive. So this is great because you can play online, which I haven't tested yet, but you can play online. You could also play locally, as well as against the computer. There's tons of different opponents, and they are challenging. There are definitely some challenging opponents that took me like 15 tries to beat them. It's developed by Cygames, which, as a Dragalia Lost fan, it was like cool because I'm like, oh, you also do Dragalia Lost, and again published by Xseed. And I think this is, if you enjoy card games, if you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh, if you enjoy Pokemon card games, if you enjoy Magic the Gathering, if you played other games like Evoland and enjoyed the card game, or the Trails of Cold Steel, and enjoyed the card game, like, you deserve to try this, like, absolutely. And because there's a demo, I highly recommend everyone just download the demo and give it a shot, because if you like it, you carry over the data, which is fantastic. And if you don't like it, you wasted a little bit of your time. But it is truly awesome, and I really do highly recommend Shadowverse Champions Battle for the Switch.
Nice, nice. Jakester was wondering there at the end. So yeah, Shadowverse Champions. Yeah, that's cool that you have a free demo. Again, we've talked about this so many times. I wish more and more companies and more actually have. Like we're seeing a lot more demos and a lot more games that Nintendo is actually putting out some cool timed demos that you can try for Nintendo online subscribers and stuff too. So pretty cool to be able to get your hands on the game and try it out. So definitely check it out. I'm not a huge card game fan. So you really
Yeah.
enjoyed Magic and all that stuff, huh?
I loved it. I love the strategy. I love the fact that there's no two games that are going to be exactly identical. I love how there's certain cards that just work really well together. Like, oh, this card kind of sucks. Oh, but when paired with this one, it's unbelievably powerful.
Hmm.
And you were able to craft that, and you were able to craft your own deck. And even if you had a similar theme, like in Magic, you might have had a land destruction or a card discard or direct damage or a counter deck or an elf deck or whatever you decided to do. You absolutely had a different spin. So if I had a land destruction deck and you had a land destruction deck, they were different. We used some different cards. You of course had staple cards that were like necessary, but I like that it let you do that. And like Magic has 5 colors, which is standard. This game instead, what it does is it uses crafts. So instead of 5, is actually 8. There's 8 different crafts. There's like sword craft, there's dragon craft, there's forest craft, etc. And they each have cards that are specific to them, and you can't build anything other than like if you have like a bloodcraft deck, you have to have bloodcraft cards to put into it. There is a ninth one that's neutral that can be put in any deck. So it's really one of those things where you have to figure out which of them you like to play and then play that, but each tile actually levels up with you. So instead of like leveling up your character, you're leveling up your deck. So there are certain quests, it's like, oh, well, this is the sword craft deck like class, and like, oh, you want to be part of this club or this niche, you need to have a high enough level in that swordcraft. So if you don't, you have to make a swordcraft deck and let's start leveling it up. But again, all that is completely optional, and that's what's so cool about it is you have the freedom to mess around
Hmm.
and really change the game. And I've played against some NPCs that really surprised me to the point that I'm like, all right, I'm taking your deck and now I want to complete it. And what's cool is you can even put like pins on cards, like on a deck. So like if you and I played and I beat you and you say, wow, I really want your deck, you could pin it. And then if you go to like a kiosk that's selling cards, if it's selling one of the cards you need to make my deck, it will highlight and say like, oh, this is one of the ones you need, and
Hmm.
let you know, so you don't have to like write down on a piece of paper or anything. And again, if you open up a pack and you get one of the cards, it'll tell you like, oh, this is one of the cards you needed.
Hmm.
Really cool. It also auto sells anything above 3, because 3 is the max you can put in a deck. So it just auto sells. You're not like, well, I have 100 of this, what do it just auto sells it for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Some really good quality of life stuff, and definitely worth checking out.
Nice, nice. I think I like the way I would like to play a card game is digitally though, because the
Yeah,
things
well,
that
that's
like real life is so like I don't know. I think when I because we all the card like those kind of card games came out back when we were in school and everything. I
hmm
was like, I have to do so much math homework. I don't want to do math for fun as well. Like figure out how many points this, and then you add this in, and it modifies this, and how many points do I still have left, and hit points and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let's
use
just let the
dice.
computer take care of it.
Use die
I know,
d20s.
but you gotta
But
like keep track of everything and do
yeah,
that. I'm like, no.
well,
So
right now it's
digitally,
very
it's better.
expensive too. And
Yeah.
and especially, as a kid, if you played Magic like we did, every 3-4 months or so, there was a new expansion,
Hmm.
which means like we would pool our money together and buy a box and like split it up evenly, and then we would all open our packs and trade cards. And it was expensive. Box of cards at the time was, I don't know what it is now, but it was like $70. And when you're dealing with, middle school, high school, $70 even split, amongst a couple people, $25 or whatever, like that's a lot of money.
Hmm.
like that, you're not working, you don't have disposable income, and you try to tell your parents, oh, I need this to buy Magic cards. They look
Right.
at you like, no. So it is absolutely one of those things where you don't have to do that with this, which is great because it is digitally. I would love for a Magic style game like this to come to the Switch. Magic Online would be fantastic. But I also feel like people getting into Magic now, it's almost daunting, and there's a reason like the newer tournaments are only the newer sets, because 1993 is when Magic started. You're talking about almost 30 years at this point of cards.
Mm.
It is huge to get into. There's a lot to it. It's very complicated. This is kind of cool because like everybody comes in on the ground level, and apparently this has existed before the Shadowverse. I've never heard of it, but it was like one of those things where, hey, I feel like I'm getting in on the ground level, and anybody I play with online or like locally or whatever, I know that they're on the same level as I am because you haven't been playing for 25 years. You don't have the experience of those cards at card advantages.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to going through. I don't know how many chapters I'm only in like chapter 3, but I've just been having fun doing the side quests and battling people and just playing the games. Like screw the actual story, just having fun playing card games.
Nice. It's an anime too, isn't it?
It might be. I mean, there's
think
anime
so.
cutscenes for sure,
Yeah.
and it definitely is an anime style, 100%. But it's got a lot of the typical voice actors too that you'll see in like Persona and other games. A lot of them, come over to this. But it's just very honestly well done, and I think if they patch that frame rate, it would be a little bit better. But again, that's only when exploring certain areas, and it might be a little bit distracting, but you're not in that area long enough to worry about it. And where it really matters, the battles are fluid, and they're like everything's fine. So that's really great.
Nice.
Also, if you play handheld, you can use touch, which I didn't do, but you can like touch and swipe or something to play your cards, which is kind of neat.
That is cool. Yeah, I almost feel like that's how I'd want to play. Can I have that best of both worlds? It feels like real life, but it's still all taken care of for me.
You have to download the demo and see how you like it.
There you go. I might check it out. Yeah, if you have played Shadowverse, let us know what you think in the comments down below. And some people are already talking in the chat about how your review has already inspired them to at least get the demo. So
it's worth giving a shot. That's what I say. It's free.
For sure. Yeah. Well, let's get into some of the news. We got two big topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. Both showcases of some sort. One came from Nintendo themselves, showing off some indie games. Indie World Showcase from August 11th. And then August 6th, Aksys had an All Access event as well that we've been talking about and kind of leading up to the last couple episodes of the podcast. And that actually happened. So we're going to be talking about both tonight. We'll take one at a time. And for all those details, you can head to NintendoFuse.com for all the list of all the games that were shown off from this year's Indie World Showcase. Tonight we're just going to kind of walk through the entire event, kind of talk about what was shown off at the Indie World Showcase this year. There was 19 games that were shown off. And just kind of a cool showcase of a bunch of different events. And I'm just trying to get this video. I just forgot that they had that opening logo like forever on there. So trying to scrub ahead as we get started.
You're supposed to be prepared. Come on.
I know. I forgot they had that whole like beginning thing where it just like sits there and then they talk over it and all that stuff. But we're just gonna run through all the games that they showed off. If you're watching the video version, you can see that we just got that playing here on our video here on YouTube. If you've never watched the video version of our podcast, here's a plug. Hey, you should check out our YouTube and watch it. But several games listed. Like I said, we're going to run through all of them, so bear with me, and I'm probably going to mispronounce some stuff, so also bear with me on all of that as well. So first off, we got Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which will be hitting in sometime in 2022. That's a graffiti action adventure game, kind of skateboarding kind of idea around All City King, you try to be the All City King. We also have Toem, or is that just Toem? I'm not really sure. But coming out in fall 2021. This is a laid-back, hand-drawn adventure game in which you set out on a delightful expedition to use your photographic eye to uncover the mysteries of the eponymous Toem. Man, they used some difficult words in that to read just quickly. But that's coming out in fall 2021. Loop Hero is coming out in winter 2021. And so you're going to be playing, instead of playing the hero, you're going to be playing another card-based RPG where you're going to craft the world that the hero travels through. Far Changing Tides comes out in early 2022. To set sail for a new journey in this atmospheric vehicle adventure. in a post-apocalyptic universe. So that's Far, coming out early 2022. Necro Barista Final Pour comes out. Came out actually on August 11th, so that's already available. And you're going to be serving coffee to dead people, I think, is the idea of that game. So that's kind of interesting. Garden Story came out also on August 11th. Yeah, you become the guardian of the grove and explore a vibrant island and inspire its inhabitants. Boyfriend Dungeon also came out on August 11th, and this is a dungeon crawling dating sim. So we've actually, I think, talked about this on a previous podcast, but that came out on August 11th. Axiom Verge 2 also came out on August 11th. This is a prequel to the original Axiom Verge. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, which is a new Shovel Knight game, is going to come out in sometime in the winter 2021. And this is Puzzle Knight is actually your guide to fight foes and recover relics and battle bosses. So kind of takes the version of a puzzle adventure. I'm guessing since it's Pocket Dungeon, maybe it's also going to be a mobile game as well. But coming out to Switch in winter 2021. Islanders Console Edition came out on August 11th, and this is a relaxing, procedurally generated strategy game. Metal Slug Tactics comes out sometime in 2022, and this is basically your Metal Slug game, but it's kind of a fresh take on the game for sure, and got some combat mechanics and roguelike elements in the mix as well. Tetris Effects, which is a game that a lot of people have been playing for the last year or so, especially in VR, is coming out in the form of Tetris Effect Connected. And that's coming out on October 8th to the Switch. And it comes with some extra modes like Zone Battle mode and some cooperative connected mode options as well. Astroneer comes out in January 2022. You're going to be exploring and reshaping distant worlds and set in the 25th century. So that's going to be interesting, I'm sure. 100 Days comes out sometime in winter 2021. So in this game, you're going to be taking complete control of a winery. In this game, so that's going to be interesting as well. Slime Rancher Portable Edition, came out on August 11th as well, and you're going to be following the tale of Beatrix LeBeau as a plunky young rancher, and you're going to go on adventure with him, kind of wrangling slimes. Lumbear Jack comes out sometime in 2022. Jack is a humble bear and with simple dream to return nature to its former glory, and you get to help him in that adventure sometime in 2022. Curious Expedition 2 came out on August 11th, where you'll discover a turn-based narrative roguelike. And then Gang Beasts comes out sometime in the fall 2021, not too far away. This is a multiplayer party game with a lot of different crazy characters and slapstick fight sequences. And then finally, Eastward is going to be coming out on September 16th, and this is a beautifully detailed post-apocalyptic world and an action-adventure RPG with puzzle-solving elements as well, and also some dungeon-crawling elements. Barry, that was a lot. 19 games that they showed off. What stood out to you? I am done talking for a while.
Yeah, that was honestly, first off, I think this was a phenomenal indie world. There was a lot of shadow drops, which was really cool. I love to see that because it's just like, oh my God, never even heard about this, or oh, I forgot about this. And, oh wow, it's today. Oh my God. But I also think they brought a lot of oomph. Sometimes you get these indie worlds and it's like, this game kind of looks cool. I'll wait for reviews. But I think there was a lot of these that just really sold. And right away, it started with Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Love Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future. Have not, had a new game for forever now. So I was like, oh, this looks great. This looks exactly what I've been waiting for. Super excited about this. Then Far Changing Tides looks really cool. I have the first game, but I never played it. But this looks like it has some really neat ideas. And I love post-apocalyptic universes because everyone has a different idea of what the end of the world's going to look like, and some are not too far off. Uh, Necrobarista looks pretty cool too. It kind of reminds me of what was it, Valhalla,
Hmm.
where you're like a bartender.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing is really cool. Garden Story, I've seen so much for. It still doesn't grip me, but I know a lot of people are excited about it. Boyfriend Dungeon, on the other hand, looks looks hilarious, and it's gotten mixed reviews, but I think it looks hilarious. I love the concept. I love just the idea of just being like a hack and slash dungeon crawler where mixed dating sim where you can date your weapons. And the weird thing is they're not all boys. There are girl weapons, and apparently one of them's a cat. So I don't know how that happens, but yeah, that's a thing. Axiom Verge 2 looks phenomenal. I absolutely loved the first one. I will wait for the physical to play the second one, but yeah, I've seen people posting. They've been playing it on Twitter, and it seems to be really awesome. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, I'm with you. It kind of has that mobile feel, but it also, it reminds me of Wario's Woods,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that is a puzzle game from Nintendo that I feel is often forgotten about, but I really enjoyed it as a kid, but like going back and playing it like when Animal Crossing came out, I'm like, oh, I could go back and play Wario's Woods. I loved that game. A lot of the love of it disappeared. I was like, oh yeah, this game could be a real pain in the butt, but it's still a novel concept of having a character in the field, which didn't really do anything before. While I'm not a huge tactical person, I'm sure that Greg would be all over this if he was here. Metal Slug Tactics, when that was announced, I was like, this should be on Switch, like absolutely. So I'm happy to see it finally coming over because I think it was first announced for mobile only. So I'm like, this should be on Switch. So I'm glad to see it. Tetris Effect, I've heard amazing things about, especially in VR. It kind of makes sense for Tetris to be on Nintendo, anyways. It's kind of where it's all started. So
Yeah.
to see this come over,
Do
it's just
we?
fantastic.
Is there no Tetris game? No, there's the Puyo Puyo Tetris, I guess, on Switch. Is
Tetris
that all we
99,
have? Well, I mean, oh yeah, I guess they added the single player
they added
now.
single player
Yeah, I
stuff,
forgot
yeah.
about that. So okay, so you could
And there's
still
Puyo
play it
Puyo
without.
Tetris 1
Yeah,
and 2.
yeah.
But now there's a new version of Tetris, which is just great.
Hmm.
Uh, the what else? Slime Rancher. I'm not a big first person shooter, but it looks hilarious. Nothing that I would play, but I know a lot of people are really excited for it. Gang Beasts as well. It just doesn't do anything for me, but I know some people really like it. So that's awesome that it's there. And just overall, I think that this was just a really cool. Eastward looks good too.
Hmm.
Again, another post-apocalyptic world because
Right.
that seems to be the theme. But action adventure RPGs, I'm always for. So overall, I think this was a fantastic indie world and came out of nowhere, which is
Hmm.
great. Which means maybe we'll have a direct soon.
That's
Maybe.
true. Yeah, being able to get the indies not like out of the way, but spend their separate time on them for a separate event, and then yeah, maybe jump into Nintendo Direct soon, or maybe we'll go 2 years before the next one, just like the last one. Yeah, I think this one was. I think it's been very similar. They've had a very a great range of games over the last several indie showcases, and that's cool for a few different reasons. But I think the weird thing is that people will look at that and go, "Well, I didn't like half the games, so it wasn't good." And so I'm hopefully going to be like stand here and say like or sit here and say that like I didn't like half the games either, but that doesn't mean it was a bad thing. It just means that there's a lot of different types of games that are coming out, and it's great because they're all different genres, different play styles, different ways that these indie developers are just exploring different ways to have fun. And some of these things are going to appeal to some people, and some are not going to appeal to others. For me,
Absolutely.
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk looks crazy. I don't know if I'll play it or not, but it looks crazy. But the first one that definitely like I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I get that one was Far Changing Tides. I didn't realize that there's a series. Is how many games are in this series?
This is only the second one.
Oh, the
So
second
there's
one.
only
Okay.
one.
Okay. So I haven't. It's not like I've missed out on a whole bunch of stuff yet.
No.
No. But I think the cool thing was, yeah, it looks really pretty as well. And like you said, it's funny how everybody's opinion of a post-apocalyptic world looks different. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking that one out in early 2022. A couple of the other ones like that, like Necro Barista, looked interesting to you. It looked dumb to me. So but to each his own. Um, and Boyfriend Dungeon also, I'm like, not my thing. Axiom Verge is, I don't. I think we've talked about this before because we knew it was coming out. But I still need to go back and play the original. I
So
think
good.
I may have it downloaded on two different devices because it was out for like, was it 3DS and Wii U or something? I don't
Yeah.
know. And
Wii U and Switch
Switch.
and other
So
and
I'm
PS4 and
pretty
Vita.
sure I have it on Wii U. I may also have it on Switch or something else if they gave it away free on Xbox or PS4. And I still haven't had it. I'm pretty sure or played it. So I want to play both of them for sure. Um, I I mentioned this earlier, Shovel Knight. I'm on the fence. I need to look more into it and see how it's going to go. I don't quite know if I'll enjoy it or not. I loved the original Shovel Knight. I usually like puzzle games, but I don't know. This one I need to look more into. But like you said, if it's like Wario Woods, I barely played Wario Woods, which I think a lot of people barely did because it was like the last NES game that came out, right?
Yep.
So
Last, but it was also on Super Nintendo too.
okay. So yeah, I may have that game on one of the virtual consoles or something like that at some time too. I need to go back and actually like check out my old systems and see what I have to play. Um, Tetris
But that would
Effect.
require you actually playing a video game.
That's right. Instead of just reading comic books and watching old cartoons instead. And I play Rocket League. Um, Tetris Effect is, I think, like you said, it makes sense to have a Tetris game. I love that they've added different modes, like the ability to do cooperative play and be able to cross platform play and everything. Um, but I feel like Tetris Effect, like the reason why it's so cool is because of the virtual reality experience. I don't know if it's going to be as cool when you don't have it in VR. Like you might as well just like play the other Tetris games at that point because I feel like that's part of the that version of Tetris is just that immersive experience that you like have in VR. So I don't know. I feel like they may have just I get why they want to be cross platform and everything, so that makes sense to why they would brand it like that. But I almost feel like they should have just branded as a completely different game, which I guess it kind of is, but it's like a pseudo different. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking. Uh, but the rest of the games, other than Eastward seems cool. I need to look into it more and figure out like how much time I would have to sink into it because RPGs, but it's an action RPG, which I do like more, and I feel like those games usually keep it moving a lot more and everything. So those fit in a little bit more to my schedule. So I don't know. I overall like I said, there was about half of the games that I was like, these are really cool. The other half were like not for me, but that doesn't mean it was a bad event at all. I love that we're still seeing all these different types of games come out. Yeah, anything else, Barry, before we wrap up our Indie World Showcase?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think a lot of people need to realize whenever you're dealing with an event that every game may not be for you, which is fine. If it's not for you, it's for somebody. And you should be happy for those other people. You don't have to play these games, but just know, like, a direct could be good, even if there's nothing for you. It just may not fit your needs or your taste this time. And who knows, there could be a surprise in there that you could fall in love with. I was in a group we were while this was going on, and like everything announced. It was like people were like, "Oh my god, this and this," and like people were just super excited, and like I was feeding off that energy. Even stuff that like I expected, like Metal Slug Tactics, like I expected that to be on the Switch after it was announced as iOS only or mobile only. Like, I'm not a tactics guy, Greg is, but like to see these people like, oh my god, Metal Slug Tactics is coming. Oh, I was hoping this would be. Oh, this is fantastic. Like, it was like infectious. I was like so happy for them. Like, even though I'm not going to play this game, I love the original Metal Slugs, but like I'm so happy for you that this is now available. And I wish if everybody took that type of attitude, I think it would be better overall.
Mm-hmm.
But more people are thinking me, me, me. Oh, there's nothing here for me, therefore it's bad. Like, no, it's stuff for other people. Think about other people. Gaming is a community. Besides, who has the time to play every game they want to play? I'm sorry, there's nobody. Nobody has the time to play every game they want to play. So even if everything in this indie showcase was absolutely, I have to play this at launch, you're not gonna have the time to play it.
It's true. It's funny, even like the as we're going through and all listing all the games that were interesting, I'm wondering like, I may play half of those or even less because yeah, there's only so much time. Oh, well, cool. Well, we not only had the Indie World Showcase, which we'd love to know what your thoughts are as well. Let us know in the comments. I'm just going to go quickly through the chat room before we move on. And Jakester didn't know Wario Woods existed.
No, apparently not.
Wow. Well, he's got some more homework on top of Xenoblade.
Yeah, but see, he's actually doing his Xenoblade homework and enjoying it, unlike you.
I enjoyed Torna.
Well, no, yeah, I'm not saying you're not enjoying it. I'm saying you're just not playing it at all.
I don't own it, so that I do. I need to get back to Xenoblade X, but if I'm gonna get back to any game, I need to finish up Hyrule Warriors because it was like I'm almost. Or wait, did I beat that? I did beat it. Ha! I beat it. I've been so used to not beating it. I did beat it like a month ago. Wow. What other games do I? Oh, I need to get back to those Star Wars games. That's what I was wanting to do.
Yes. Good games.
Yes. I also said that Metal Slug looks cool, but he doesn't know anything about the franchise. Man, Jakester don't know anything about Wario Woods or Metal Slug. Ugh, that's rough. That's rough. He's
to be young again.
Calling me out. I'm calling him back out. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't just the Indie World Showcase. We also had another event. Aksys had a full event where they showed off, what was it, 11 games in this event back on August 6th. So, yeah, Barry, tell us about the Aksys event and what they showed off there.
Yeah, so Aksys did something on their Twitter. No, it's on their Twitch. Sorry, on their Twitch called All Aksys, where they showed off a bunch of games, like briefly, like just the trailers for them, and then they had a host who would play each of the games, and it went on for a good chunk of time. I mainly just stayed for the original airing of the trailers to see what they did, and Aksys is one of those companies that they have a unique style to their games, but they also really love the Switch, which is great because they were also like really in love with the Vita, and now they're bringing like everything to the Switch, which is great. Love to see the support. So from what they did have, they're big otome makers, which are like they're visual novels, but they're also like dating visual novels. So if you're not into that, unfortunately, some of these won't interest you. But they had a couple of those: Lover Pretend, Paradox, Kimi wa Yukima ni Kongao. I betcha I butchered that. That English title is not out yet.
Better than anything I could have guessed.
And Paiofari Episodo 1926, which is actually a sequel to it, one that hit earlier this year, last year for the Switch. But then they had some other games too. They had like Rico London, which is a first-person shooter where you're like kicking the door down and just, it seems like over the top, which is just really cool to see. Definitely totally different than some of the other stuff they were showing, but shows that they have a wide range of titles. They have Olympia Soare, which is another type of visual novel. Undernauts Labyrinth of Yomi, which is like a first-person dungeon crawling RPG that really takes me back to like Eye of the Beholder than the old Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games for the PC. Looks really cool, has this really unique style to it. I really, really like what they're going with it. And while I haven't played those RPGs in a while, this one might bring me back into it, which is just really cool. They had Daroku Agents of Sakurantani. This one appears to be also another visual novel, but one thing with a lot of these titles is the art is phenomenal. Like even if you like, I don't really like visual novels, just look at the art of some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Just gorgeous art. They opened with Pups and Purrs Animal Hospital, which is a veterinarian game, definitely targeted towards younger audiences. But it's one of those that I can definitely see, parents playing with their kids, and especially, a lot of kids maybe they have a family pet and they want to become a veterinarian. This could help. I know that some of those have been very big before on Nintendo platforms, so why not? Variable Barricade, which seemed to be like a big popular title, another visual novel style game, but a lot of people have been hyping it up, and I'm not sure totally like all the ins and outs of this, but the art just it pulls me in. So I'm a visual novel fan. Sometimes I like to just go in blind, just be like, I have no idea what I'm getting into. Let's see if it hooks me or if it doesn't. And then they had Blazing Strike, which was an arcade fighter. And I was like, wait, well, and again, this kind of doesn't fit, but it's really cool that they're pulling out all these other genres. What I would have loved to have seen Aksys do is bring over Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus from Falcom onto the Switch, but unfortunately that was missing. But they did show off, and a lot of these games are on other platforms, but a lot of them are Switch exclusive. And every title they showed off was for the Switch, which was really cool. I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch any of this at all, Steve?
Yeah, I watched some of it, and yeah, like you said, like most of them are visual novel kind of stuff and everything, and that's not my thing. But also, like you said, like the graphics, the elements, like it's amazing, and almost it almost pulls me in, and I almost want to try one of them just because I want to look at it more, which is
Yeah.
like weird, but it's the art is just amazing in it, and I think that's what I've always really enjoyed from pretty much all of Aksys games is they are all beautiful, like they're just really pretty games to look at, and that's the case even like Rico London and the Blazing Strike are not the visual novels, but they still look really cool. Like they're a way of being able to get like the best visuals out of a system, and those are the two games that the ones that weren't visual novels are the ones that stood out to me. I'm usually not a big FPS fan, but Rico London just looked so much different that it goes, okay, I think this would be fun to play, and like you said, it's just so it's out there, and it's different. It's not like your traditional COD or anything like that. So I think it would be a game that I think I would really enjoy, and I'm a huge fan of classic side scrolling or 2D fighting games, especially arcade games. And so yeah, I love that kind of style. Street Fighter was my big thing. I played a lot of Tekken as well. Played some Mortal Kombat and some other games over the years. But yeah, I'd love to definitely give Blazing Strike a chance. And they even refer to it's kind of like a Capcom and SNK game. So it's like, okay, that's really cool because I love those kind of styles as well, like Marvel versus Capcom and Capcom versus SNK, and those were really cool to have those kind of crossovers. But I also love the way they brought in the different characters and the art style, and it just has this nostalgia, I guess, behind it. And so it's fun, but also nostalgia together. Yeah, you've got me looking at that game for sure.
Yeah, Axis does a lot of Japanese centric with their titles that they publish and that they put out, and I prefer Japanese style games versus the West. And like I haven't really gotten into a lot of their visual novels. I did try Color X or Cross Malice, which is really interesting premise. To me, it was just a little bit on the slow side, but it was really interesting, and I wanted to go back to it. I just never got a chance to. But like I said, they do have some really unique titles in their catalog, and I'm hoping they continue because they were a big darling on the Vita. They supported the Vita very heavily, and they've started bringing a lot of those titles to the Switch, and titles that would have been on the Vita to now go into the Switch, and that's great because, like I said, they may not be your style of game, but it's great to have all these different genres on the platform. That's what makes it so incredible, is when you have a diverse library, and you never know. I wasn't a big visual novel person until I did Zero Escape, and then I went to that Steins Gate, which Steins Gate, I'll tell you, as a visual novel, is slow. In fact, I almost quit it a couple times. And looking back now, that was one of the best visual novels I ever read,
Hmm.
and it is a fantastic story. And you could always just watch the anime, but there are some really great visual novels that will pull you in, and it's something where if you're not sure if you would like it, there's some that have more interactivity that might be more your style versus
Mm-hmm.
just flat out just reading, and that's really where you should try out and check out. And the Switch is host to a crap ton of great ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the idea of the ones that like we've had some of, I forget what the genre is called, but the interactive movies that we've reviewed a couple of them here.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's kind
like
of
Late
fun because
Shift.
it's
I
almost
love
like
that.
choose your own adventure kind of thing. And so like I think I would really enjoy like a visual novel and that kind of style, but just
They are
going
that though.
right. But some of them are just straight up
Some are.
linear, and like that kind of idea I don't think I'd like. But the ones that are more choose your own adventure, I do think I would probably enjoy.
Well, there's definitely different. Like even Steins Gate had some decisions, but it was kind of cryptic. It was all done with like texts, and you had to like respond the right way to get certain trees. And like, if you in order to see like the true ending of that game, you almost really need a guide. But then there are other ones like the Zero Escape and the Danganronpa, which are visual novels, but also have a bunch of actual gameplay and style to it. With the escape rooms or the trials, the murder trials, stuff
Mm,
like that are really cool. You also have stuff like World End Syndrome, which is on the Switch, and that gives you a choice of what you do every day. Like
mm,
you can choose where you go, and wherever you go, you may interact with people or you may miss people. And again, that's another one where you really need a guide if you don't want to run through it 100 times to see everything, but is a really cool story and well
mm,
worth going through to see it to the end. And a
mm,
lot of people who make the visual novels, they have a great story to tell,
mm,
and they just don't always have the gameplay, so they do it in their own way of doing it, and they're worth checking out.
mm,
Like I said, like Raging Loop I did earlier this year. I played that game for 4 days straight. Like that's all I did.
mm.
I just couldn't put it down. It was like a fantastic book, a fantastic story, and it had me thinking. And I still recommend it. Like that is such a great, easy to get into visual novel. That's just it just pulls you in.
That's cool. That's cool. I think of the ones I don't know if I will try it or not, but the Olympia Sorry, yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
how you pronounce that. That was the one that stood out to me, I think, the most because it just like they all look good, but oh my gosh, that one looked absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know how they're able to pull off those kind of visuals on the Nintendo Switch, but they need to tell some other companies how to do that. For sure.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe those are just renderings. Maybe it actually wasn't what we'll see, but I don't know. I feel like they'll actually be able to pull that off, and that one just comes out next month. So not a
Yeah.
whole lot longer that we have to wait for that one.
And see, you're talking about reading those comic books. Maybe that'd be a good thing. Hey, I'm going on a trip,
Hmm,
and you could do that instead,
that's
and
true. It's true. I
you
need
might
to
find a
find.
whole new genre you like.
I know. I need to find some good games like that I could do and can enjoy it because that was one of the things I thought about playing some Pokemon Unite when I was on the plane and I realized no, I can't play that online on the plane. So I could have done single player stuff, but that's not fun. I want to play online. So
Yeah.
I can't play Rocket League online on the plane. So I need some stuff like that when I go on a next flight. So
I recommend Raging Loop. Give that
okay,
one a shot.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, let us know what you guys thought about the All Access event as well. We would love to know your thoughts in the comments here on YouTube. And yeah, if you have not followed us on social media, that's another way. So maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're like, there are no comments on my podcast app. I can't leave you a comment. You can shoot us something on social media at NintendoFuse, but you can also join our Discord. That's another great way to let us know what your thoughts about anything that we talk about within the podcast, any news, or a lot of other different things that come up within the world of video games. All those links are in the show notes and also the YouTube description as well. Let's jump into some quick headlines and kind of hear what some of the other news stories that have been going on in the gaming world, specifically in the world of Nintendo. Barry, you want to kick us off? Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh yeah, so the Switch reached another milestone. 89 million units sold. And this now pushes it past the lifetime sales of both the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and is now number 7 in overall console sales. It's, really close to the Wii, the PS1, really close to knocking them off. Just a few more million, and we'll be there. And we'll see how far Nintendo can push this. But either way, this is an incredible feat. And, it's interesting when looking back and thinking how well certain game consoles sold. And then the Switch just shatters all these records.
Right. Yeah. Who knows how far it's going to go? Speaking of sales numbers, we have the MPD numbers for July 2021. And guess what? Nintendo's still on top. It was revealed that the Switch was the best-selling, top-selling hardware in both unit and dollar sales, while PS5 was the top-selling in revenue. I wonder why? Because it's like twice as much as a Switch. But yeah, Nintendo's still dominating in terms of units sold and dollar sales. And yeah, comparing it to July 2020, so just a year ago, hardware sales have increased 98% year over year. So Nintendo is still making lots of money on their hardware and also their games. We found out the top 10 best-selling games for Switch. The game that still tops the list is Legend of Zelda, or sorry, not still. This is brand new. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. I was getting ready to talk about Breath of the Wild because it was on the top for so long, but Skyward Sword HD topped the list for July. Monster Hunter Stories 2, we talked about that one, is right up there. Apparently, it's a fantastic game. Maybe it's the game that gets me into Monster Hunter Stories. We'll see. And then, of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe continues to dominate, followed by several other amazing Switch games.
The Switch is absolutely killing it, and one of the titles that is most likely going to add onto that list is a little franchise. You might have heard it. It's called Pokemon. And tomorrow, as of the time of this recording, which is tomorrow will be August 18th, if you are listening after the fact, at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time, 6 o'clock in the morning Pacific, we will get a brand new Pokemon Presents. This is going to be around 28 minutes in length, and we will find out brand new information about Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. I don't know if there's going to be any extra surprises. Probably not, but definitely information on those 3 titles.
Nice. Barry, have you heard of a little game called Fortnite?
No, what's that? Never heard of it. Hassan, don't kill me.
Well, Fortnite is continuing to evolve their game that was just started out as a battle royale FPS, but now they're taking on Among Us. Because they've added an imposters mode to the game. So you're going to be able to play with, I think it's up to 9 other players, so 10-player games in which you're going to, 8 of the players are going to defend the bridge, and 2 players will be imposters. And the goal of the regular players are to figure out which one are the imposters and eliminate them, while the imposters' goal is to eliminate everybody else. So if you are familiar with games like Mafia or what's the other game like? It's not Coyote. It's a werewolf.
Werewolf.
One of those mythical. No, I guess coyotes are real.
Coyotes are very real.
Werewolf or Among Us, games like that. That's kind of the style of this game. But you can check out the trailer and a lot more information over there at NintendoFuse.com. Well, Barry, yeah, what do you think about any of those stories?
I mean, I think they're mostly pretty much all fantastic. Looking through, the sales numbers are great. I think I read something like it was the first time since like 1988 that the top 30 games are on the Switch. Like in terms of sales, like the first time, it's the first time since 1988 that it's all been on one platform.
Oh,
Like Nintendo has had it before with like all Game Boy, NES, and Super Nintendo games, but I think it's the first time since '88 that all like the top 30 games in terms of sales have been on one platform. I could be wrong, but that's what I read somewhere. I was like, wow, that's really fantastic. That's not saying they're all exclusives. Like Minecraft is up there and stuff like that, but
Sure.
every game that's there is playable on the Switch, which is phenomenal. Switch is killing it, and I'll be honest. You see these numbers? This is why there's no Switch Pro. This is why we got the OLED instead.
Right.
Because there's no reason. Why should they?
Yeah. Yep.
This ship is sailing perfectly fine. Why do we need jet engines on a ship? We're fine with wind power. You know.
It's true.
I
I just think back to a few years ago when before the Switch, and that was not the case at all. Like I don't think any of the top games were Nintendo, but
no,
maybe a
no.
couple, but yeah.
As for Pokemon Presents, I'm very excited. Can't wait for tomorrow. Pokemon Legends Arceus looks fantastic. I do hope that the frame rate has been improved. But that's my main thing. The graphics to me are fine. I do hope they were improved, but I could deal with it. Just the fact of an open world Pokemon game is something I've wanted since like 97, 98, whenever it came out. So to me, this is just something that could very well take over my life if it's done properly. As for the Diamond Pearl remakes, I'm still not sure if I'll be playing them, at least right away. Depends on my schedule with whatever else I have going on. It's a stacked holiday season for sure, so we'll see. But I'm excited to learn more, see what changes they've done in these remakes, and certainly excited for all the Pokemon fans out there. And I've never played Among Us. I love the concept of Among Us. It's very similar, like you said, to Werewolf, which Raging Loop I talked about already. That's Werewolf, by the way. That's a visual novel, Werewolf. If you like Werewolf, you'll absolutely love it. So it's cool to see Fortnite do this. I mean, you know what? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?
Sure. And to be honest, like Among Us was definitely clearly not the first person or first company to do a game that.
No.
Like Werewolf and other games like that have been around. That concept's been around for years. So it's not really like they're ripping off Among Us. They really ripping off real life RPG kind of games that people have been playing for years and years and years, maybe even before we were born.
Maybe.
I don't know how far about those back, but Jakester says we should play Among Us on the Discord. We should. That could be really fun because I don't like playing with just random people because it's just weird.
Oh yeah, it's way more fun with people you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you about the sales. It's just crazy. Like and Jakester also says like this is why we don't have Mario Kart 9. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling like crazy, and it should because it's awesome. Jared's also in the chat and says he'd be down for Among Us in there. So we'll have a game sometime for sure. Pokemon Presents. I'm also really excited about Arceus. I don't. Yeah, the remakes, whatever. But open world Pokemon. I love. I've said this before. I love hanging out just in the wild area. So like an open world, like sign me up for sure. And we'll see. I mean, I may play Fortnite Imposters. I mean, it's a free game, so might as well just try it out. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely down for Among Us in our Discord for sure. We should try that out sometime. Well, we're going to talk about what we're looking forward to over the next couple weeks, but just one more reminder, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. If you haven't shared this podcast with other gamers that really enjoy, especially Nintendo, be sure to do that. And if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we post new videos, every time we go live. We would absolutely love that. And of course, join us on social media and our Discord. Yeah, again, that programming note that we will be back on September 7th for our next live recording of our next podcast, episode 236. So that makes this, I mean, that's 3 weeks away instead of 2 weeks away. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through the games that are coming out over the next 3 weeks, and we can kind of talk about what we're hoping to play, maybe on that list, or maybe other games that are on our backlog. Some of the most notable games probably are No More Heroes 3 finally coming out, and also Sonic Colors Ultimate, the remake of that game, is coming out, I think, on September 7th, so the same day as our next podcast. One of your new favorite franchises, Sakura. I'm done talking. Sakura Succubus is coming out on August 19th, so maybe you'll be able to review the fourth in this series, Barry.
Maybe I'll see if they send me code.
But yeah, what are you hoping to play over the next 3 weeks for our next podcast?
My main goal is to A, finish Neo the World Ends With You, B, play more Shadowverse, and hopefully finish Shadowverse. Those are the main two things. Pokemon Unite, I'm still going to be playing that. I got to get heavier back into Final Fantasy XIV as we get closer to Endwalker. Just want to finish and touch up some stuff. And we'll see after that if what comes out, or if I have a little bit of a gaming break, or what happens. Because right now there's like so many games going on, and I'm obviously going to be playing some games for the Playcast, as well as games that we might make physical with premium. Who knows? We'll just definitely be playing some different games and seeing what comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just seeing as I'm scrolling this, Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are coming out on August 26th. Have you played either of those games?
I have not.
Those are games that have always like piqued my interest, but that's all they keep doing, and so I'm like, oh, maybe one of these days it'll go beyond interest and actually playing it. I need to see how other people think about those games. So if you've played Spelunky 1 or 2, please let me know in the live chat or the comments. I would love to know how those games are, so that maybe I'll actually go beyond just piquing interest and playing them myself. Yeah, I think I think Sonic Colors Ultimate. I love that it's coming to Switch, but I don't know. I played it some on Wii U, but I don't know if I'm actually going to be playing it at all. I don't know, the remake. I think it's cool that they have a remake, but I don't know if I'll actually getting it or not, because there's so many other games.
Kitaria Fables looks actually interesting. That I have that pre-ordered physically. It looks really good, and yeah, Sonic's Colors I might give a shot too. I never got to play the original.
Yeah, I do like as well. Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions is coming out, but as well, like I've considered getting that game in VR instead, because I'm like, I don't know, it'd be such a cool game, like to have in VR. I love that it's coming to Switch, but if I get that game, I think I'm gonna get it for Oculus instead, because it'd be fun to just get actually like virtually in the ring and play. I just pulled up my Switch because I actually do have a couple games I remember that I downloaded, either that I got really on sale or something happened, and I haven't got to play them yet. So a few of them, maybe some of the ones that you actually recommended, I can't remember, but Retrograde Arena, Sky, Children of the Light, and Toby the Secret Mine are 3 games that I've downloaded like over the summer, but I haven't touched them yet. So maybe I'll get to play one or more of those games over the next couple weeks as well. Let's go to the chat, and it looks like that's Jakester says he's going to finish the story for Xenoblade and going to try out an MMO, play the Shadowverse demo as well, and then I thought someone else was writing, but I don't see it anymore. So maybe they deleted it. Um, but uh, but yeah, what you guys are talking about MMOs? I mean, of course, you play Final Fantasy 14 a
Hmm.
lot. Any other game? What other MMOs have you played, or is 14 basically like the big one that you've gotten into?
No, I played the first one I did was I mean, like I messed around a little bit with Asheron's Call and Ultima Online, but the
Mm.
first one I really got into was a game called Earth and Beyond, which is gone now. It's like a space game where you had like it was kind of like you were a space pilot and you got your own ship and kind of like No More Heroes, not
Mm.
No More Heroes, No Man's Sky,
Oh, okay.
but like MMO where you get to like join factions and fly together and fight aliens and stuff. It was really cool. But then I got really heavily into Final Fantasy 11.
Mm.
Um, and I played that for well over a decade. I met my wife
That's
there.
where you met your wife. Yeah,
Um,
I remember
yeah,
that story.
and we then went to Final Fantasy 14 naturally as 11. So it's still going on, but we kind of waned out of it and went to 14,
Mm.
and 14's going stronger than ever now. In fact, there's too many people now in 14. They're kicking people off servers and they're like having to try to expand, and they just weren't expecting this because like the biggest like WoW streamer like switched over to 14 and took millions upon
Uh,
millions of his followers started playing 14 now, and Square's like, oh my god, we don't know what to do. But yeah, and Endwalker's coming out, and Endwalker just looks amazing, and it's one of those that I'll always like. Part of me still enjoys what 11 did more than 14, but I think overall for accessibility, 14 is like a single player RPG that you can play with friends, but you don't necessarily have to.
nice, nice. Yeah, I thought about like I think I've talked about this before, but I tried to get into WoW and realized I was way behind. Plus, there were so many updates at the by the time I needed to play, and I got one of those discs. When discs were a thing. Actually, I was
Yeah.
on Walmart the other day, and they still sell PC games on discs. And I thought that was weird. It was like, who still buys them on discs? Maybe some people do.
If I
But
do.
of course you do. But I bought WoW on a disc, and it was like $5 or something like that. And there's a bunch of updates, and it took forever because I wasn't on high speed internet, and it was ridiculous. And then I played for like I don't know, a couple hours, died, and had no idea what to do, and I gave up. Uh, so that was my WoW experience. But I had some coworkers one time that I was really close to getting into one of the Star Wars MMOs. Um,
Oh yeah, I did play Old Republic. I
yeah,
forgot
you play
about
that?
that.
Okay.
That was
Um,
fun.
and then right before they made some big change and made everybody upset, I remember, and I was so glad that I didn't invest in it because I would probably been upset as well. But yeah, it was one of those games that like my coworkers were just constantly talking about it every day. I worked at a warehouse at that point, and they were talking about it every day and just constantly hearing about it. I finally was like, okay, I think I need to play this game. Clearly, I need to play it. And then yeah, then they made that change, and so I never checked it out, and they eventually stopped playing it as well because they were upset with the change.
Yeah.
Um, but it reminds me, I just got to see Free Guy last night. Have you seen Free Guy yet?
Oh no, I haven't yet.
Okay, that's like an MMO kind of thing. So I'll just say two thumbs up for me. It
Yeah.
is one of the best video game based movies that I've seen, and I think it's because it wasn't based on a specific video game. Like they
I
had
heard
like
that I heard that Disney wants to do a sequel already. I think it did well enough.
I wouldn't be surprised. It did really, really well. And I've heard nothing but like, and that was the thing. Like, I was holding back because I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good or not. And everybody I was hearing from said they loved it. And so, yeah, my wife and I went to the movies last night, and yeah, it was good. It was funny. It was charming. Lots of video game references throughout it. And not, I wouldn't say it wasn't like it's like every time you turn around you're saying, oh, that's from that, that's from that, that's from that, but it's more like references and tropes that are like, if you're a gamer, you're picking up on a lot of this stuff, especially mmos and things like that. You're like, oh yeah, I get what they're talking about because I'm familiar with all these things. But there are moments in it where you're like, that's funny because they're calling out specific things, and you see like cameos from actual like gaming streamers and stuff like that are in the game, or in the movie, which is kind of cool.
That are in the
But
game.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah, they're well, I guess they're kind of both, but yeah, won't spoil anything, or but I'll just say, yeah, check out free guy or free guy. Sorry, there's a reason
Speaking is hard.
why I'm so confused because the name of the game in the movie is free something, and then there's other games that they talk about that are also called free something, and then the movie is called Free Guy, so that's why I'm confused. So what's the name of the movie? But yeah, it's pretty good though. So I recommend that. Not a Nintendo thing, but there are some
Oh yeah.
cool references in there. And I'll just say it's cool that Disney now owns it because some of those things they reference are definitely from Disney. Uh, I also wonder if they were there in the beginning or if they put those in later after they bought it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You have to probably like get the Blu-ray and get the commentary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Barry, it's been awesome to talk games with you again. We missed Greg, of course, but as far as we know, Greg will be back next episode. So if you all missed Greg, he should be back
So
again. And you can always talk to him in our Discord channel server. So make sure you do follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at NintendoFuse. Also, join our Discord and maybe jump in the next Among Us game that we play. That'd be cool as well. Again, all those links are in the show notes. Barry, where can people find you and see all the other stuff that you're doing? Because you're on like 7 different podcasts now, and I don't know, all these other things, making games and like just staying
yes,
busy and all these different things.
very busy. So you could find me on Twitter, of course, at Hawk Hellfire, where I love to talk video games. You could always find me at the NintendoFuse Discord as well. Always willing to chat there. You could also catch me on the Switch Mania Playcast. We usually record every Thursday. And those will usually go up Thursday night or Friday morning. So definitely check that out. I'll also be doing a special guest on the Dragon Cast, which is going to be at least recording this Saturday at 9 o'clock. I don't know if it's like a live thing or if it's going to be put out Saturday or when it's actually going to air. But that is something I'll be doing as a guest. And of course, premiumeditiongames.com. Please support us. We still have some Series 1 titles left. We have less than 100 Super Blood Hockeys in stock. It is going quickly. That game is awesome. Definitely check it out. We also have deluxes for Pigeon Dev shipping shortly as well. So for all those that did get that. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
That's cool. That's cool. And you've got another gaming event coming up. When does that happen? When you're like play more games or something like what's it called?
Too Many Games.
Too Many
That's
Games.
in October. Yes.
Okay, October. Okay, so you still got time for that one. So that's cool. Speaking of gaming events, if you checked out Play NYC, especially for those of you that got tickets from our giveaway, number one, we want to thank Playcrafting again and Dan Butchko over there. Be sure to check out Barry's interview with Dan we did a couple months ago. Yeah, if you got to get over to Play NYC and either did it online or actually got there in person, we would love to know, what you thought about the show and what happened and what games you got to play and who you get to connect with and just your overall experience. So you can either leave those in the comments here on YouTube or let us know in our Discord or, of course, social media. Just let us know how it was going. Make sure you tag Playcrafting and Dan Butchko as well and give them some praise as well for that event. Again, we thank them so much for that giveaway. It's been cool to do the last several years of some pretty awesome giveaways, and he just keeps giving us more every year. So it's a cool friendship that we've been able to strike up with him over the years. Pretty much for me, you can follow me at Steve Cullum on Twitter and pretty much all the other social medias as well. I talked about my TikTok. If you do want to follow me, it's at Steve Cullum 12 on TikTok, and you can see my other crazy videos of my Lego minifigs that I'll probably be posting on there because I got some more that are like Ninja Turtles and some of the Avengers and stuff like that. And who knows, what I'll keep adding on that over there. But yeah, you can follow me all on there, and of course connect with all of us on Discord as well. We absolutely love keeping the conversation going there. But yeah, that brings us to the end of episode 235. We're gonna be back for our next live recording on September 7th. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.